have a fear of judgment of what other people think. I mean, if I really cared that much about the skeptics and the people that don't believe in my work, then I wouldn't be on this path and I wouldn't be helping people heal and have comfort. So I feel like that calling for me is more important than, someone looking at me and thinking it's not real. The comfort I can bring to other people and the healing is way more important. So really anyone out there that, whether it's psychic ability, whether whatever they want to do in their life, my biggest message to them would be like, go ahead and do it. This is your life. It's not other people's lives. So yeah, they might talk to you for 5 minutes and not like what you have to do, but you have the rest of your life to do what you want to do and what you love and what you have a passion for. So live authentically, live with that higher purpose, because again, it's your life and you're the only one that can bring peace to it.
Today's guest is Brandi Van, a professional pet communicator, a dog psychic, and a pet communicator with a deep passion for giving animals the voice they've always deserved. Through her intuitive pet psychic readings and animal psychic readings, she helps pets express their thoughts, emotions, and needs, delivering their loving messages to their human companions. Whether they're with us in the physical world or in spirit, she creates a space where pets can finally be heard and understood, strengthening the bond with their pet parents. Welcome, Brandi.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Well, I'm really excited for this topic. I mean, what's there not to have fun with?
Right?
Wow. So, with that said, what is one of the most courageous things that you have done?
Sure. So I think the most greatest thing I have done is doing this type of work, because a lot of people are either skeptical, or once you say what you do, they kind of look at you like you're crazy. So really stepping into it and, becoming my most authentic self with this and finding this as my higher purpose has really been enlightening. But you always have those people that, are doubting it. But yeah, it's 100% real. I know it's real. The owners that I do the readings for, they're validating it. They're getting a lot of insight. So even though someone might not think that, this is a real communication going on, it absolutely is. And that's something I have to, when someone asks me what I do, they kind of take a step back, but then they're really interested, like, how does this work? And they ask a ton of questions. So it's a lot of fun.
I can imagine. I mean, I'm sure. Let's dive in. So, what took you on your journey of being a professional pet communicator? Firstly,
Yeah.
I've got to ask: have you had pets all your life?
So I had a dog when I was younger, only for a few years. I actually broke both my arms at the same time when I was like 9 or 10 years old, and so my mom bought me a puppy for that. So
Oh.
I did have a puppy, but then I went years without one because I was in college and I didn't really have time. But now I have 3 dogs. Even before that, I've had fish, but like, yeah, the 3 dogs, they're they're a handful. They're a lot of fun, but I don't read their minds because I feel like it's this ethical boundary of like,
Mm.
I live with them and I don't want to have to go into their minds. But how I got started was I actually was a medium before that, so I was able to talk to
Mm.
deceased loved ones. And how I got into that was I like always had like an interest in like psychics and the
Mm.
paranormal and things, but I thought it was more just an interest. I didn't think I actually had an ability. But when I was in my 20s, I had a profound spiritual experience that changed everything. So my grandma was actually passing away. She was in her hospice bed, and my family and I were around her. We were all holding hands. And as she took her last breath, I literally felt her spirit rise above the bed. It was like this magnet in my stomach telling me to look above the bed. And when I did, like with my eyes, though it's right in front of me, not in my mind's eye, right? Like in my eyes, looking right at me was like all these amazing colors, and they were forming a star and beating in and out like a heartbeat.
Wow.
And in that moment, I knew without knowing how I knew that she was like at peace. I knew she was going on to an amazing new journey in her life. I knew that death wasn't final. I knew I'd be talking to her again. So I was having this like amazing experience. And it was so profound that I actually left the room because it was like too much for me to handle. And
Mm,
my cousins thought I left the room because it was too sad of a situation
mm,
that I couldn't be there when my grandma passed away. And it took me years to tell them what had happened. And when I did, I found out that my mom's whole side of the family is psychic. Like my aunts, my cousins, my own mom, aunts, uncles, like everybody. And I'm like, okay, nobody ever talked about it, So from there, I was like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. This is beautiful. And I started to read a ton of books and I took a lot of
mm,
classes, but like nothing seemed to be working. Like I was like, maybe this was a one time thing. And then my friend, who actually happens to be a life coach, was like, did you ever try to find a mentor? And I'm like, I don't think they exist. So I looked for one, I couldn't find one, but I did like I was going to a medium for reading, so I asked her if she'd
mm,
be able to take me under her wing, and she did. And so I only worked with her for maybe an hour a month for 6 months, and then my abilities just skyrocketed. I was able to contact spirit on demand. I was able to do mediumship readings, and then from there, after I did readings for a long time, I decided to do my own mentorship. So then I
mm,
still have my mentorship program where I teach others how to develop their abilities. But then along that journey, this woman was having like a 1 month class on how to connect with animals. And I was like,
wow,
you know what? Why don't I try that? I was only in the class for 1 week and I was able to connect. So I think it
wow,
was because I already had my ability developed
mm.
that I just easily connected with them. And so that's how this all got started. It's kind of a long story.
No, no, that's absolutely wonderful and good to hear. So, how easy is it to communicate with pets opposed to humans? Is there a big difference or do they cross over?
So it's not a difference in terms of the message coming in, but it is a difference in the energy that comes with it. So when I
Mm-hmm.
connect with a pet, the pet doesn't even need to be there. I literally just get a picture of them, and I'm as long as their eyes are looking into the camera, the eyes really are the windows to the soul, and I'm able to just look through their eyes and get all the information where and the energy is so much lighter and funny, and they just have so much love and trust. So the energy is a lot lighter. But when I do a mediumship reading, it is a little the energy changes, right? Because this is someone in front of me who is grieving, who is trying to get healing and comfort, and so the energy is a bit how can I word it? Like a bit heavier, so, but the messages that come through are the same though. So it's
Mm-hmm.
still coming through my mind. I'm mostly clairaudient, which means clear
Yeah.
hearing, which means I mostly hear the messages. I hear the messages in my mind. It's my voice, but it's not my thought. And so that's how I know that the message is coming through. But even a pet that's passed away, they
Mm.
still have a lot of humor and love and things. So it's still even lighter energy with even a pet that has passed away than a human. So yeah, not so much the message how they come through, but the energy is a bit different.
Wow. That's amazing. So, do you do healing work for animals or not?
I don't do healing work for animals. Maybe
Mhm.
that's something I'll get to in the future,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
right now they are more just so excited to like talk. I think because they have never been able to before.
Yeah.
Like I'll do a half-hour reading and the owners are like, "Wow, I can't believe they had so much to say." And it's like, I guess I'm not surprised. They were never able to talk before, So they do have a lot to say, but fortunately, I haven't had many animals that had a lot of health issues going on. So maybe if I did have one, then maybe I could like even try it right then and there to see if I can help heal them. I
Mm.
don't know yet. So that could be a new venture.
Oh, that's really good. Absolutely, because I know a friend of mine does healing for horses. So yeah, I was just wondering about that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
What does your work actually entail? How do you engage with them? What do you do? I mean, you must have some fun stories as well to tell here.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So I do all my readings over Zoom, whether they're
Hmm.
mediumship, whether they're pets, so that way I can get a larger audience for whoever, is in
Hmm.
need for it. And yeah, I like to do it in person. I know a lot of my competitors do audio notes for a pet
Hmm.
reading, but I really like the human interaction part of it. I'm a very outgoing person, so I feel like if I was just sitting there doing an audio note, being by myself all day, I wouldn't enjoy it as much because people could ask questions, and maybe once I'm saying something about their pet, a new question pops
Mm.
up. So I really like that aspect of it. But there's so many stories I can tell. But let me think of some of my favorites. So I had this one little dog that his mom was like, every morning when I let him out, he runs down the street, and she's like, I know he's gonna come back, but I still have that fear of like, oh my gosh, is he gonna run away? And so I let him know that, and he had in the group said, used to give me window time where I was able to look outside and bark at animals and humans that were coming by, but then we got these new blinds, and now I can't look through the window anymore. He said, if you give me back my window time, I will stop running down the street because now I'll have my activity back. He literally emailed me the next morning and said, last night I gave him his window time, and this morning was the first time he didn't run down the street in a very long time. So I just thought it was so funny that he was able to like compromise and negotiate with his mom to let her know, So I've also had this other little puppy that she was, I hate to say it, but she was like so conceited. She thought she was the cutest little thing ever, which she was, right? But she actually asked her mom if she could get a mirror that could sit on the ground because her mom puts her in these cute little outfits and she wants to check herself out in the little outfits. And she was like, my mom only can hold me up in the mirror, but I want to be able to look at myself when I want to. And so she asked her mom for a mirror to be able to look into. So these are just like a couple examples of like how fun-hearted and funny these little animals are.
Wow. So I've got to ask, so Brandi, what animals do you connect with and communicate with?
So by far, it seems like the dog lovers have reached out to me, but I've also done a lot of cats. I did that bird. I've done a horse. I'm wondering, like, can I even connect with a goldfish? Do they have something to say, right? Like, I'm not sure. I haven't done one yet. So I think I could connect with probably any species out there, but I haven't had the opportunity yet. But, the thing with cats, and I don't want to make the cat lovers mad at me out there, but I was never a cat person. I was always a dog person. But now that I communicate with cats, actually have really amazing personalities. And I guess I never realized that because I always thought cats were very like, I don't know, standoffish and they don't come around as much or play with you like a dog would. But since I've done readings, they have just an amazing personality, just like the dogs do as well. So yeah, cats are definitely, they're just as loving, just as uplifting and trusting of their owners. However, they might be a little bit like not so much protective of their owners like a dog would be, but they're almost like a little bit possessive of their owners. I mean, they definitely have a very strong bond with their owner where a lot of cats I've done, it almost seems like they want to be like stranded on an island with just them and their owner and nothing else exists. So they are fierce in their love. But yeah, it's definitely got me to change my mind about cats as well.
Oh, that's exciting, actually. Yeah.
It definitely is.
Who do you prefer working with, humans or animals?
I love that question. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I do love working with the animals. It's a lot more fun, I think, but I feel like I have like a responsibility to the humans because not everyone has that gift to be able to talk to people who have passed away. So I feel like I need to do it for people, whereas the pets, I want to do it. But before that, before I communicated with the animals, it was the love of my life being able to communicate with humans. But now that I feel that energy shift and the way it affects my body, it is a lot more fun with the animals.
Yeah. So is there times when the animals just don't want to be communicated to or they won't communicate back?
So I haven't had that happen yet, but I did have, I've only done one bird reading. And
wow.
the bird, his messages were a bit different and he wasn't talking much. And my friend thought, I was doing her bird and she was like, maybe it's because his brain's not very big. Like, like maybe that's why he doesn't have much to say. And I was like, well, I'm not communicating with his brain. I'm communicating with his soul and his energy. I think it was because he didn't have much going on. So he didn't have much to talk about. So he would say something like, I do tricks. And then like 2 minutes later, he'd be like, I do tricks. And I'm like, oh, buddy, you already said that, because I just don't think he had a lot to say. So I don't know if it will be all birds or just that one bird, but not so much that they haven't talked. But yeah, I found that species in particular so far doesn't have much to say.
That's really interesting. Wow. And do you find, I mean, random question, going down the street, can you hear animals talking or do they kind of seek you out or is there anything they can sense about you?
No, because whenever you have this ability, you're able to turn it off. So if I had every animal and every person that passed away communicating with me at all
Mm,
times, like
mm,
I don't think I would be able to like live this human life, right?
mm,
So
mm.
you need to be able to turn it off. And it's also an ethical issue. So
Yeah.
if the parent or the owner hasn't given me permission to go into that
Mm,
dog's or pet's energy field, then I don't want to do it because it's kind of like an ethical issue as well.
mm,
So right when I start doing a pet reading, I tell them, your owner wants this. Like they're giving me permission to do this. I envision that there's a gold cord going from my heart to theirs, and I let them know that they can trust me. And at the beginning, they might be a little bit shy, like what is this woman doing? But then I get them to open up to me. So yeah, I definitely don't do it just like on the street. Same with the deceased loved ones.
Can anyone learn how to communicate with animals?
I believe so, absolutely. Like we all have this gift. It's just a matter of just like playing the piano or playing a sport,
Mhm,
like just
mhm,
learning the skills to be able to do it. And not just the animal readings, but any type of psychic ability. Anybody
mhm,
is able to do this. And I'm a great example of that. I was basically self taught or taught with my mentor. It's not like I was born with this in terms of, I started seeing and talking to spirits since I was 5 years old or anything like that. It happened way later in life. So
mhm.
yeah, absolutely anyone can do it at any time as long as they have an open mind and they have an interest in it.
That's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. So is it like you say, that is there a crossover? A lot of things that can cross over with humans and in the abilities to be connecting or communicating with pets, humans.
So that I actually don't think so. And the
Mhm,
reason for that is I've been doing my mentorship program for about 2 years now. And every client that's come in so far has had a different ability than anybody else. So
mhm,
every student that I work with seems to have a new ability that nobody else had. And I'm not saying that they aren't able to do it, but everyone has a different ability. So
mhm,
someone might be an angelic healer, someone might be a telepath, someone might be a medical intuitive. So if they all have these different abilities, it doesn't mean that another ability is going to be the one for them. So
mhm,
it's a lot of like trial and error, practicing and seeing what your ability is. But like for instance, I'm not an angelic healer.
mhm.
I can't channel Archangel Michael to heal people, but where I had a student that could do that. So it's really figuring out what your unique ability is and if you're able to do it or
Mhm. Wow, that's really good as well, because then at least you know who you're connecting with and what they specialize in.
yeah.
I would
And
imagine
there's
it's
so
like that.
many different
Mm,
ones out there. There's so many
mm.
that honestly, when I got into the mentorship program, I thought I knew them all, but my students teach me every day that there's all these new ones that I didn't know about. So it's really awesome work.
Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah, absolutely. So, have you had any pets or animals that have not been happy and you've had to communicate that to their owners?
No, that's a great
Mm,
question. No, they are
mm,
just like the happiest little
mm,
thing, like animals. They are just like
mm,
they're so like loving and grateful and they know like how much their owners love them. It's just like a beautiful
mm,
relationship that they have. I did have one um and not that it was like a sad like it was a sad story for I guess for the owner. So this dog had passed away and she came home from work and he was having like labored breathing and she didn't know what was going on. It was
oh,
just so sudden. So she called the vet and she was like, I'm taking him to you immediately. And the vet was only 3 miles away and he actually passed away on the way to the vet's office. But
wow.
his story was so amazing because he was like, you know what? I know my mom would have had to decide that day to put me down and I knew she couldn't do it. He was like, I wanted to take
Oh,
that pain away from her and she didn't know how he passed away or what the cause was. So he was able to let her know what had actually happened. So that gave her a lot of comfort. So not that he was unhappy, but it was kind of a hard story to tell, but it gave her a lot of comfort. So I'm glad that he was able to tell her all that.
oh, how beautiful is that?
I know. He also was like,
Mm,
my mom gave me the best gift of all for Valentine's Day. And she was like, well, I used to give him a gift for every holiday. And I was like, no, he's adamant about Valentine's Day.
mm,
And then she thought about it for a minute. And here she had given her kids him as a gift for Valentine's Day. But he
mm.
saw it as, no, you gave me my family on Valentine's Day. And it was just like, he was just so sweet. I loved him.
Oh, God, that's amazing. Like, what you're able to do and just bring comfort and joy to everyday, lives.
Yeah, I'm
Mm.
so blessed that I'm able to do this. Absolutely.
A pet is part of your family. We have pets in the family, and they're just, part of your family, and that's
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
actually,
And they know it, they
Mhm.
absolutely know it.
Oh, how beautiful is that? What does your work entail? How does your process begin? So, kind of
Yeah,
just run us through that.
sure. It's super easy. So you just go to my website, you
Mm.
book the reading, and then you send me a picture of your pet with them looking into the camera. And then as soon as we get on Zoom, I let them know that I'm going to let the pet talk, say whatever they want to say. Then the owner can ask their questions. And then I have a huge list of questions that I ask them. And it's more about like their health issues, their behavior issues. Is there anything they want to do in their life that they haven't done yet? Because it's amazing that, like, let's say you take a dog to a dog park or you have a dog sitter that might have other dogs. They
Mm.
talk to each other. Like, I've had
Mm.
dogs that are like, my friend told me about this dog park and I've never been to one. Like, what is this about? So it's awesome how they also talk to each other. I don't know how that works. It's
Wow.
amazing how spirit works in terms of, you know, obviously they don't, I mean, I don't know, like we're labeling it as telecommunication or we're
Mhm.
labeling it as they speak English, right? But whatever it is, spirit is able to get me these messages, which is awesome. So yeah, so I asked them a ton of questions, a lot about like their digestion and if they're getting water intake, if they like where their bowl is, if they sleep well at night, things like that. And I think literally like probably 80% of animals, if you're curious, are dehydrated and constipated. that is
Mhm.
a that is like what they tell me all the time. So I need more water. Maybe if I'm not drinking enough and you can't make me, maybe have it like in a food like watermelon or something that they can get more hydration. But yeah, they're funny that that's a message that like always comes across, almost always comes across. But yeah, there, then we just kind of end the reading with if the pet has anything more to say, if they have anything more to say. Yeah, and yeah, it's really easy.
Wow, how amazing is that? I know I keep saying that, but I think it's fantastic. And by the way, you're the first pet psychic I've had on the show, so thank you very
Oh,
much.
awesome.
I was thinking, wow, this is really interesting. And there's so much more than just communication. If they need healing, like you said, if there's anything they need to convey to their owners, it's really interesting that that ability is there to be used and utilized.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I had a dog last week that, he wasn't eating and he's older. And so, her owner was like, "Oh my gosh, like is it because he's going to go soon?" And here it was nothing like that. He just said like my gums are a little bit sore. Can you just add like some water or something to my food?
Mm.
And then she emailed me a couple days later and was like, "I added the water and he's eating again." I was like, "Perfect." So, and now he's eating more. So, yeah, it's great of what they're able to convey.
Mm. That's
Actually, I have a free guide on my website. So if anyone
Mhm.
wants to go to it, it's a 5-step guide on how to communicate with your pet and try to get those messages. Not so much telepathically or psychically, but just to be able to tune into them better.
Mhm.
So anyone is welcome to go to the website to get that free guide as well.
Oh, that's brilliant. And I'll ask you about your website in a moment. I just want to ask you, so with everything said, what is one of the most important lessons you've learned so far in your life?
Yeah, so the most important lesson that I've learned through this work
Mm.
is to really like not have a fear of judgment of what other people think. I mean, if
Mm.
I really cared that much about the skeptics and the people that don't believe in my work, then I wouldn't be on this path and I wouldn't be helping people heal and have comfort. So I feel like that calling for me is more important than, someone looking at me and thinking it's not real. The comfort I can bring to other people and the healing is way more important than little old me, right? So, and it's not like, oh my gosh, I have this amazing ability. Its spirit is amazing, and how blessed am I that they can channel through me to get these messages across. So, really, anyone out there that whether it's psychic ability, whether whatever they want to do in their life, my biggest message to them would be like, go ahead and do it. This is your life. It's not other people's
Mm.
lives. So yeah, they might talk to you for 5 minutes and not like what you have to do, but you have the rest of your life to do what you want to do and what you love and what you have a passion for. So live authentically, live with that higher purpose, because again, it's your life and you're the only one that can bring peace to it.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. And thank you for reiterating that because I think it is so important. We are judged so much this day and age. It's about being able to stay the path and continue regardless. I mean, yeah, you are in every walk in life, you're going to have people that don't understand what you're doing. And that's the real question here. If they don't understand it, don't mock it either.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
I love that you
mm.
said that.
So, where can the listeners find you online? What's your website, Brandi?
Yeah, so it's very easy. It's just my name. So it's brandyvan.com. They can read about how it works. They can book their reading there. The mediumship readings are there also, and also the mentorship program. And of course, don't forget to get that free guide, because I would love if you could be able to start communicating with your animals without the use of a psychic, just to be able to connect with them a little bit better.
That's brilliant. I should be checking that out. So I'm
You
really pleased.
should.
So out there, the listeners, if that's for you, please do check it out. And you may even have a stronger relationship with your pets, even more than what you have now. Thank you for sharing your insightful wisdom and knowledge with us today. And by doing so, I know you have helped so many others make a difference. I really want to acknowledge you for that. Brandi Van.
Aw, thank you so much. I so appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And it's been really interesting for me to learn as well. So thank you.
Good. Yes, you're welcome.
So, with that said, we are all about Create the Courage to Be Fearless podcast here. What is your definition of courage?
My definition of courage is having faith more than fear, right? So even when you're afraid of something, to kind of like simmer that fear down and step ahead through it anyway. So having that faith over the fear is a big thing, because a lot of fear does hold people back. So whenever you can just say no, you know what, I'm going to take that leap of faith and let that lead me. I think that that is the definition of courage for me.